Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here in June. A very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. And welcome to Sunday's very, very special edition of the dceu Daily, because today we are going to discuss some massive news that you all already know about. I really wanted to do a special video yesterday, but my internet's rubbish. It would have taken forever. And I wanted to really take my time and think about what Zack revealed yesterday. Yes, Harry Lennox's General Swanwick is revealed by Zack Snyder to be Martian Manhunter. This reveal would have been in his cut of the Justice League. Now, Zack said something really exciting about this. He said that he shot the sides of the Martian Manhunter, but he was planning to shoot Harry Lennox's side, General Swanwick's side, over in LA, California. So, for anyone a bit saddened by that, because that part of it didn't get done, if Warner Brothers say, let's release the Snyder Cut, they can easily do that. They can easily fix that. But that's not enough, because apparently Swanwick's Martian Manhunter did disguise himself as Martha Kent. We saw pictures yesterday of Martha Kent going to Lois's apartment in Metropolis. Now, I don't know if this was confirmed by Zack, but a lot of fans, a lot of people part of this movement were talking about that. And, you know, I really trust my fellow dceu fans, and I believe that is absolutely the truth. How did I feel about this yesterday? Listen, I could sit here with you, grab my device and read umpteen articles. You know how crap my reading is, so I save reading articles for the special articles that have information we need to discuss. I was just bowled away. A lot of people said to me, why are you surprised by this, Mick? A lot of us were giving out this theory ages ago. I'm always late to the party. I didn't know this. I never thought about that. Let me tell you something. I love Harry Lennox as an actor, a really good working actor. And his performance, especially in Man of Steel, because we don't see as much of him in BVS, but we see enough of him, it is a special performance. And I think someone said this to me yesterday. Mick, if you go back and rewatch Man of Steel, it makes the film totally different now, knowing that General Swanwick is Martian Manhunter, and it does. And I'm going to go and rewatch it again, and BVS, because if you look at it, there are clues there. When Swanwick is standing by kind of the one-way mirror, when Lois is interviewing Superman when he's being held by the army, Superman, he goes up to the one-way window, because of course he can see through it. He's Superman. Everyone shits themselves and walks away, but not Swanwick. He stands there because he's not afraid, because Superman can't hurt him. And then we look at the special relationship between Swanwick and Superman in Man of Steel, and also the special relationship between him and Lois Lane as well. So he had a very prominent relationship. I mean, look, to me, this is amazing. This is so exciting. As passionate and as excited as I was, knowing there's a Snyder Cut of Justice League, as important as I knew getting this released was, this makes it ever so more important. I'm buzzing. I'm so happy. A lot of people are angry because obviously WB doing what they did, having the knowledge of all the awesome things Zack was going to do with this movie. How can you cancel that? Because they were afraid. They were afraid of Access Media. But seeing how they stood up to Access Media over the Joker movie shows you that this leadership is very different. They want to make proper films. They want to give the auteur, the director, the creative, all the power. Now, I don't know if Swanwick is an original comic book character or if Christopher Nolan and David Goyer made him up themselves. That's interesting. Now, we don't know if this was the plan all along by Chris Nolan and David Goyer, or if this was Zack Snyder's idea. But whoever's idea it was, it's awesome. It's actually funny, an Arrowverse fan saying that Snyder is copying Supergirl because there's a Martian Manhunter in that series? Well, Supergirl came after Man of Steel, so it's not a copy at all. Ridiculous chap. But for me, we should be happy. And again, you can see how Zack Snyder's become so successful. He's a very tactical man. Because it's funny, I was watching Ping Pong Flicks the other day, Chris Wong Svensson saying, well, Zack hasn't dropped anything for a long while. And I'm thinking, New York Comic Con, because of course, the awesome digital billboard for Release the Snyder Cut is up there. And it's beautiful. And it's amazing. Zack Snyder has actually thanked fans for doing it. On Vero, a fan said to him, what can we do, Zack? What can we do, sir? He goes, you're doing it. He is so thankful. He's so touched, him and Deb. This is the most beautiful relationship between creative and fans I have ever seen. They tried to bully him. They tried to attack him, and we defended him. They've said terrible things about the man's daughter's death. How can you be so cold? We have defended him. We have fought with the standard. Listen, let me start again. We have fought with the Snyders. We have stood next to the Snyders, right? And I've said a lot of different things since this all started. I felt that maybe Zack and Warner Brothers should have compromised together for the good of the franchise. I've said that and I stand by that. But I love Zack Snyder. You see, the difference is between Zack Snyder and someone like Todd Phillips. Todd Phillips is a very kind of loudly spoken man. He has a lot more confidence, and he stood there in front of Access Media and saying, this is my movie, I'm backed by my studio. But Zack didn't have that confidence or luxury. A lot of people are saying, why didn't WB back Zack like they're backing Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix? Well, it's simple. The leadership. And Sarnoff is a different kettle of fish. Walter Hamada is a different kettle of fish. So look, I mean, Zack released the diagram of Martian Manhunter. Look, at first I just thought this was fans theorising yesterday. But then when you realise this is all posted on Vero, I'm just bowled away. I'm just bowled away because it makes sense. It's exciting. So the Snyder Cut would have had Martian Manhunter most probably join the Justice League. How can you cut that? How can you get rid of that? It's beautiful. What was so dark and scary about that? This is ridiculous. Ridiculous by Kevin Tsujihara. It's all at his door. I'm glad he's gone. I don't want to keep on looking back because we are in a very interesting situation now. Now, Paul Shirey from, JoeBlow.com, months and months ago, maybe years ago, said there's no way Warner Bros. Would invest more money in that movie because of the money they invested in Justice League. He was asked again and he said, well, I have spoken to Zack Snyder and maybe things are different now, but I can't say much at this moment. We are going to get the Snyder Cut. We are going to get it, but don't give up the fight. Keep on fighting, doing what you're doing. The hashtags, all the posts, all the things that RT Snyder Cut are doing. This movement is beautiful. And you know what? It is sad sometimes. The other day I had a few arguments with a few Release the Snyder Cut fans. Well, they call themselves fans. They were calling me names. They were being nasty. I have my Superman story idea pinned. They were saying who gives a fuck. They were being nasty. I think there are elements of all fandoms that are not very nice. Now, it doesn't upset me. I just block them. They are not the wonderful, beautiful people I love from my fellow Snyder fandom because I'm part of this fandom. I love MOS. I love BVS. You know, I was in the cinema 3 or 4 times just loving Man of Steel. I am part of this movement. But I've said this before and I'll say it again. I will not stand on my timeline over at Twitter, people attacking David F. Sandberg or James Wan, who have made 2 beautiful movies. That doesn't do anything. That doesn't help our movement. And that's why I get into trouble with some of my fellow Release the Snyder Cut fans. It is not David F. Sandberg's fault. It is not James Wan's fault. They are wonderful people, wonderful storytellers, and they deserve better for us to use them, thinking if we attack them and their films, we're going to get what we want, because that most certainly gives us a crap reputation. I know so many beautiful fans that loved what Zack did, and we're trying to get this cut happen. And I think it's going to happen. The worm is turned. People like Paul Shirey changing their minds. Mark Hughes, who was totally against the Snyder Cut being released, or even of its existence. We know what Mark Hughes has been saying. Look, we're going to see this film. I think probably next year. I don't know how, I don't know where, and I don't really care. But my emotions of finding out that General Swanwick is Martian Manhunter, because Martian Manhunter is one of the original members of the Justice League. So people who say that Zack Snyder went against the comics, he did not. He had his own vision as Zack, and he had his own vision as Christopher Nolan and David Goyer had with that original Man of Steel script. It's that Man of Steel script that started all of these wonderful conversations off, these heated debates, even from people who don't like Zack and what he did. I have some wonderful conversations throughout the day. So my emotions are all over the place because this just excites me. Of course, how awesome, General Swanwick, for Christ's sake. And as I'll say it at the start of the video, and I'll say it again, I really enjoyed that character. And we don't talk about that character enough. I think we're going to be talking about Harry Lennox a lot from now on. So yes, Martian Manhunter. Martian Manhunter is General Swanwick, and it's absolutely unbelievable. And I'm just so pumped about it. It's so very exciting, and I can't wait to see it on the screen, any screen, my screen, your screen. And don't forget, the day the Snyder Cut is announced, I will come on here and snap my Justice League copy right in front of you. It's going to be a massive celebration. We fought hard, but it's you people out there. It's the real movement. It's the people in America and all over the world. I've pretty much done nothing apart from hashtag and talk about it and donate a little bit of money. So I'm not putting myself as the hero here. But, I will say it so many times. I'm a DC fan. I fell in love with DC from the moment I watched Superman the movie, Smallville, things like that. And I want to see the release of the Snyder Cut, basically for one reason and one reason only. I want to see the damn movie. Then I can sit back and watch Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and the Snyder Cut of Justice League as one movie. And that really, really excites me. Now it's back to current DC with the Joker movie. Do you remember all the talk about the Joker movie being a standalone movie? Well, I've got an audio of an interview with Joaquin Phoenix, and let me know what you think of this.
Now that they can, look at this, Ron J. Salute to Joaquin Phoenix. I've been waiting for this movie my whole life. Do you think of this as your dream role? No. Liz, there's your answer. Look at that. No. Did you ever have one that was your dream role?
I wouldn't have thought this as my dream role, but now, honestly, I can't stop thinking about it. I talked to Todd a lot about what else we might be able to do. In general, just working together, but also specifically, is there something else with Joker that might be interesting? So it ended up being a dream role. It's nothing that I really wanted to do prior to working on this movie.
Well, yeah, even you saying that, because you don't do sequels. There's no to even say that there's more to do.
I don't know that there is.
There is, but you're not closed-minded about it.
No, and it's, I think me and Todd would still be shooting now if we could, right? Because it seemed endless, the possibilities of where we could go with the character.
You don't have any dream to be in a scene with Batman?
No, I haven't had that dream.
That dream, we'll see.
You know what? Say what you want about Grace Randolph. She did a video the other day about what she would like in a possible Joker sequel. She was talking about bringing Lex Luthor into the franchise. She was saying some amazing things. The woman's got a great imagination when she's in that mood and she's not being negative. She's absolutely fantastic, and she's right. It's going to happen. Because what Grace also said in her video, and this is spot on, they are setting up a franchise here. They showed us the death of the Waynes and in a way, the birth of Batman, because the birth of Batman isn't the first time he wears the costume. He actually is birthed when he sees his parents murdered in front of him. So there's lots of potential here. There's lots of different ways things can be very interesting. And to hear Joaquin Phoenix say, yes, I'm not closing the door. There are elements that I could, we have thought about what we can do with Joker. It's going to happen. When something makes money and a film is so beloved, and it is, because the voices of dissent are that, and the people loving this film are that. Let me tell you on my Twitter, on my timeline, I've got multiple blue check marks saying, Joker is the best film I've ever seen. Please make more films like Joker. These are coming from basketball players, football players, singers, people around the world. This is massive. Cinema has changed. It's not an involvement of cinema. It's like going back to how films were made. You get a story, you get creatives and actors who care about their art and what they're doing, and they're not just there to bullshit the audience. Things are changing. And this is why so many people try to destabilize this picture. And I kept on warning you they would do it. And I told you also it wouldn't work. It hasn't worked. How much has this movie made? It made like 40 million, did it, or something? It's made 100 million globally already, or something like that. I don't know the exact figures. It's beating so many records. And apparently, is it going to be 90 million domestically by the end of the weekend? I think it's going to be more than that, isn't it? So very, very, very interesting what the final figures. The key to this film, of course, it's longevity of success. Will people go back to see it? Now, a lot of people have said to me, we want to go back, because what's interesting about this film as well is the amount of Easter eggs and comic book stuff that's in it, if you look deeply. So although it's not your kind of typical comic book film, it's all there. And I said this yesterday, along with this beautiful commentary about mental health. And I'm going to talk about that a lot more in a moment, and about the kind of wealth and poverty divide. This is an excellent Joker origin movie. This is the Joker I've read about in the comics all my life. It's him. The only difference is it's a relatable origin story. He's got mental problems, right? Because his stepdad beat the shit of him in his head, damaged his brain, and when he gets uncomfortable, he laughs hysterically. He can't help doing that. That's part of his issue. And let's look at what Access Media said, that this film is dangerous. I would go the opposite. When we meet Arthur Fleck, what is his prime directive? What motivates him? This sick young man who's got so many mental health issues wants to make people laugh. That isn't dangerous. That is beautiful. Despite all of this young man's problems, he wants to make people laugh. That's beautiful. That's amazing. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in a film. But ultimately, the societal issues in Gotham take away his meds, take away the devices to help him with his fight to keep sane. He's looking after his mum. He makes discoveries about his mum. It's amazing. It's an amazing premise, and on its own, it's amazing. But with Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix looking very, very interested in a sequel, and it's going to happen. Look, it's made money. Everyone's going to love it. So I think, despite Access Media and kind of the extreme crazies on the left side, not my left side, by the way, of this argument, calling this film dangerous. In fact, I don't believe Arthur Fleck is a motivator for hate and violence. I think Arthur Fleck could inspire good, a change in the mental health regime, the community of people around the world. And Arthur Fleck doesn't just represent white men. He represents black men, black women. He represents everyone suffering with mental health and trying to keep it together. But society will not help them. They call it the invisible disease because you can't see it. It isn't a bruise. It's in our heads. And it's really hard. You never cure mental health. But we can help people to fight it as much as they can. And ultimately, Arthur can't do that. So I think the enduring message of this film is not a violent film that inspires violence and hatred. It's a film that could inspire people all around the world to be better. Now listen, YouTube have changed things. Basically, what this means is it's harder for someone like me to get my videos noticed. So I want you, if you like what you see, to keep on pressing like. Don't forget to press like, please. Please share. Very important if you like what I do. And, you know, please subscribe. So if you want to get the videos noticed, if you like what I do, if you want more, I don't want your money. I don't want anything like that. I just want you to click that like switch. So what do you think? Are you as pumped and as excited about the reveal that General Swanwick is Martian Manhunter? Are you excited for a Joker sequel? Because I absolutely am so pumped.